So to jump from Khartoum, France. Oh yeah, the one thing was interesting, which I used when I joined SDS to stop the war movement and close down Northwestern University, was as a French student, I failed miserably my baccalaureate 3 times because I never went to school. I was playing jazz and having a good time. So, but I got a chance to join the military service, because if you join before they call you, you can choose. So I chose the cinema movie department of the French army, which is a famous fort, Fort d'Ivry in Paris. And there are all the films of the state and that belong to the French government. So when we were not making a movie, how to throw a grenade or how to land a helicopter on an aircraft carrier, we were sitting watching all these films. And what I was watching, I was barely 18. I was watching everything about the Indochina War. So, because the whole campaign of the French in Indochina was filmed with some very, very dramatic footage, which is kept secret. So then when I got into Northwestern as an assistant professor to a great friend of mine who is the head of the British Film Institute and a communist and a jazz musician, he got me into Northwestern. My father couldn't believe it. He said, how the hell do you get into Northwestern when you have no degree? I said, well, I'm actually helping teaching on jazz and musical comedies. So, and then we were immediately involved in, I joined SDS and we did a big speech on the meadow of Northwestern. And I said, guys, I've just spent 16 months in the French army, and I've watched every French soldier who died because the Viet Cong doesn't leave you any chance whatsoever. So all you kids who are getting called, because they were giving papers to send to Vietnam to kids who were still at university, and they would come into the class to hand in to these poor kids who had no idea that they had to go to Vietnam. So I remember the speech on the meadow. We were about 3,500 people, and I detailed exactly what would happen if they would be caught by the Viet Cong, or that they would be killed. So it was very useful because, of course, when the French got out of Indochina, they told the US, do not even think 1 second to go into Vietnam. And what did the US do? You all know. It's more than 15 years, including still to this day, they have not even apologized for the bombing in Cambodia and in Laos, where I was just 2 weeks ago. So that's the story about the Vietnam War, and the fact that everybody wants to go to war. And I hope you don't. Because the whole of Europe seems to be on a race to fight their Russian allies who saved us from the Nazis by giving us 27 million Russian soldiers who died fighting with the English against the Nazis. And now we want to fight in Europe the same people who should have been our allies. And to finish, I will state that De Gaulle always said, our ally after the war, he always said, our ally is not the US, it's Russia. And this is something we seem to have forgotten.